Thank you guys for listening to the One Up podcast. This is your host, Mina K. Thornton. We are bringing you today another message of hope, stories from struggle to success. You can also see these videos from the live taping today by going to amina.media. That's amina.media to go straight to the YouTube channel. Thank you guys again for being subscribers on the YouTube as well as the podcast. Totally appreciate all your support. Please share the message out there. Our guests are amazing. They share amazing stories of their lives. These are all real tapings. These are all real recordings. Today we are taping episode 18 with Micheal Simmons, and he's here to talk about medicine in general, and then what he had to face going through his years as a doctor. And he's going to actually touch on a lot of that here today. So stay tuned, and we're going to see what he has to tell us. So Dr. Micheal Simmons, I'm so excited that you're here. I'm so grateful that you, taking out your time today after, I believe, your busy schedule, I imagine. So where would you like to start?
Well, first of all, thanks for allowing me to be on here and talk about hope and some of the things that I've gone through as a physician, but also things that other people go through just in daily life, and may realize that there may be times when it doesn't feel like there's hope, or that there's success is kind of escaping, or it's not there. And so, yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to actually share about that.
You're welcome. Thank you. Like I said, totally appreciate it.
So medicine is actually a great career choice. Okay. And I have been in healthcare for over 4 decades. So I started out when I was quite young going in healthcare. I started looking at it, I was exposed to healthcare when I was 5. I actually had surgery on my eyes when I was 5. I had some really amazing people that took care of me at that time, and then had multiple eye surgeries and stuff because I had cataracts.
Even at that young of an age, you can have cataracts?
Even at age 5, I had cataracts. So I had surgery on both eyes at 5.
Wow. Okay.
And, it was one of those things that when I would go into kindergarten, I was always in the principal's office.
Oh, is it because you couldn't see? Like the board? I kind of had a similar thing. I couldn't hear. They had to put tubes in my ears. And then also I had issues when I was very young with seeing as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I would actually, the stories that they would tell me is I'd walk into class in kindergarten and I would just like throw all the furniture around, and all the kids would line up against the wall because I was in class and I was throwing chairs around. And they finally figured out that on Friday evenings, the housekeepers or the maintenance guys and the cleaning guys were always rearranging the room for the next week.
Yeah.
But I memorized the room and the floor plan.
Yeah.
So when I came into class on Monday morning, I was running into everything. And so I was actually just kind of clearing my path, but it was actually quite destructive for everybody else.
Oh, wow. Wow. And they didn't realize it until you were actually at school. Like that your parents didn't notice it when you were at home? Like
no,
they
didn't really notice it at home because I kind of learned to compensate. I mean, how was I to know?
You didn't.
The only thing that I ever saw. I didn't see anything different. So
so you just thought, this is natural. This is how people, interact with the world. Yeah.
That's exactly right. It's kind of a fuzzy thing. And some people still see the world as kind of fuzzy, but it was kind of a fuzzy thing. And that was, for me, that was natural. So, I was exposed to medicine at an early age, and some really great people that took care of me back then.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. So, and fast forward, any other major issues, I guess, between early school years to then when you ended up going into practicing to be a doctor?
Yeah, so that's interesting because I had some major stuff right about junior high school that actually, prior to that, I had learned to play sports and was playing basketball and doing a lot of sports.
I love basketball. It's like one of my favorite things. I never really quite figured it out, but I love shooting hoops. I don't know. My neighbor had a basketball hoop, and I loved going out there and just trying to get it in all the time. So, yeah.
It's kind of like bounce that ball down the court and throw it in a ring, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
When you think about the premise of the game, it's kind of odd, but it's fun to watch and it's actually fun to play. But I wasn't able to play as I went into junior high. So I
Me
actually
either.
went into,
That's something that
yeah.
we both share. Really wanted to play. I remember being in 8th grade, and I was so ready to go into play, and they're like, only 9th graders can apply for this.
Oh yeah.
I was like, yeah.
There's times when it's like you're either not tall enough or
Yeah.
something keeps you from being able to play it. And so you're sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah.
When I was sitting on the sidelines in 7th grade, I wanted to participate in sports. So I had a coach, my gym teacher, okay, suggested that I come out to the football fields, which I did. And he introduced me, and I actually started working with the athletes as a manager,
Yeah.
okay, and then became one of the first student trainers in the state to actually take care of athletes. So the athletes, not only when they were on the field, but even in class, I got the nickname Doc at that time. And they
Oh,
started coming
interesting.
up to see me. And so people would come see me even when I was in 7th, 8th grade to start working. And so all the way through high school, I worked with athletes.
Wow. Okay.
And
That's really cool. Yeah. So
my,
you already kind of like got that little like confidence boost right there about that time too. Like people saw that in you even at that age. That's great.
they did. And it's funny because even the coaches for the teams were always calling me, they didn't call me Simmons because that wasn't the popular name. And you can guess what the popular name was back then, but they would always yell for me. And, I was always the first one out on the field, kind of like what you see the trainers do now. When an athlete goes down, it's not the coach that goes out there first, it's the
That's
trainers to go out
true.
there first.
That's true. Yeah.
And that's kind of what I was as a kid in high school.
That's
Um,
cool. Yeah.
and quickly after that, as I finished high school, I started working with the ambulance service.
Yeah.
So
So you volunteered or you did it like as a
I was
paid?
actually paid.
Oh, that's good because there's not too many out there anymore, unfortunately.
No,
Yeah.
as a senior in high school, I was working the ambulance service at night and going to school
Yeah.
during the day and taking care of the athletes in the evening. So I was busy all the time. So
Yeah.
that's kind of that work ethic that my parents kind of drilled into me. I guess not really drilled into me, but I kind of learned that work ethic. My
Yeah.
dad was an accountant, worked all the time. My mom was a school teacher and then later on became a nurse.
Yeah.
So, I kind of learned that work ethic back then.
That's
And
good.
as I did that my interest in medicine kind of grew.
Yeah.
And I decided, there was so much that I was doing on the ambulance service and starting IVs and taking care of sick people and trauma that I decided I wanted to do more.
Yeah.
And so I decided after working a year of doing the ambulance service and volunteering in a major city that I was going to go into medicine. So I
So,
went ahead.
let me jump in here for a second. When you were, is it a EMT, Dr.
EMT,
Okay.
emergency medical
Uh,
technician.
okay. And so when you go to get your EMT, is it a license, if I remember correctly? And do you have to have like training for
Yep,
that? Okay.
yes, there was training for that. There was a lot of coursework, a lot of practical training I had,
Yeah.
as I was working on the ambulance service, I had to go out and be supervised to make sure that I was doing everything right.
But you
And
were still pretty young at that time too, right? Were you in your teens or were you
I
in
was
your
in my
20s?
teens. I was in my
Wow.
teens.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you can
I
go
was,
in the EMT when you're in your teens. I was curious about that. So
yeah,
that's
I
awesome.
was a senior in high school.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So if
So
anybody out there has like teenagers, like I have a teenager now and I would have to bring that up to her. I don't know. She loves volunteering. So I don't know if she would want to go into medical, but it's something that it's an option. I could ask her. Yeah.
there are all kinds of options for for kids that are interested in medicine. There are all kinds of options. Working, being an EMT, taking some of that night classes at the local universities, which is what I did.
Yeah.
Okay. But there's also opportunities to be a CNA, to work in the hospital, to get some of that training. And you can do those in high school. And most of those
Okay.
courses, for training of that, you can do those in the evenings.
Okay. Yeah. That's
Really
good to know.
nice for somebody that's really thinking about going into medicine. They
Yeah.
can actually get a little bit of exposure before all of a sudden they've gone to college and
Oh,
spent a
yeah.
lot of money and then say, oh, I don't like this now.
Well, it definitely teaches you responsibility and how to care for others too. So you're not always locked into that me cycle, and really thinking and caring about other people in general. So yeah, I
And,
like that. Thank you for sharing that.
and it's that compassion, is kind of learning that compassion for other people, that, you kind of look at it and I think oftentimes when you're a teenager, you think the world revolves around us.
Yeah. Well, I think
Yeah,
I think at that age, everybody wants to give us a whole bunch of information. And so we're just like, we must be the center of the world, right? Because, everybody's like telling us what we should do and not do. And then we come to, I guess, a turning point where it's like, where did everybody go? Once you get out of high school,
exactly.
now I got to
What,
take the reins.
once you get in there, it's like, all of a sudden, it's all this information, people
Yeah.
telling you what to do, exactly
Yeah.
what you should do, what careers you should go into. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, now I got to go to college.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Or
now
work or whatever.
my advisor is
Yeah.
telling me everything I need to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, you got to start making those choices on your own.
Yeah.
You know, that happiness, that joy, that finding a passion doesn't come from everybody else's dreams.
That's true.
It comes from the dreams that you have for yourself and for your own life.
Yeah.
And then actually starting to live them and starting to experiment with them. And it's okay. The one thing that I told my kids, I have 3 adult kids. And the one thing that I told them as they were going through college, choose something that you want to do because that's what you want to do, not because it's going to make you money. Because it won't matter how much money you have if you hate what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you hate it, there's no amount of money that's going to make you somehow feel like you enjoy it.
That is totally true. That is totally
So
true. Yeah.
my kids all chose and went into helping for professions. One of them is a teacher. She
Yes.
retired to stay home with kids with my granddaughter, who's 7 months now.
Aww.
She's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't got any young ones anymore, but I'm already like, oh, look at that little kid. Like, they're so cute. I remember toddlers. I'm like, that was so long ago, it seems.
Oh yeah, she's a lot of fun. It's fun to actually be with her. She actually, this weekend I was with her, and she would snuggle in, and then she would just fall asleep while she was laying on me. So I remember my kids doing that too. They just kind of drape themselves around you and then fall asleep.
Yeah,
which is always nice for me.
Yeah, I remember mine.
I have another
right here on my chest, and their little arms would be like across my body.
Oh yeah,
it was just
spread
so
out.
cute. Yeah.
Yeah. And then my other daughter is working in the emergency room. She's a PA out in the emergency room, so she's in the middle of all this COVID stuff.
Oh no! Are they? I don't know too much about that. So I guess they have to wear. Obviously, they have to wear masks and everything.
Yeah, she feels like she's in a kind of a spacesuit all the time.
Yeah, I bet that's hard. I bet that's hard. Yeah.
And she says it's been really busy. It's been really busy.
Yeah, I definitely.
And my youngest one is a social worker, so she adores working with kids in social work.
Oh, good. I bet she's been busy too, because a lot of.
Busy.
And that's one thing, I hate to say there's a lot of domestic violence out there because I know about it, but and during this COVID period, I can imagine with some kids can't even, get the help they need and talk about because those outside influences aren't there right now. So
and that's one of the things that she said it's been tough because families have been stuck at home together.
Yeah.
And from the teaching standpoint, parents are not geared to teach their kids at home.
Not unless they've been doing it for a long time. Because I've homeschooled my kids for 15 years. 15 years. And yes, it was starting with one and then adding another over 15 years. So it is a journey and you have to make it your life. And I did for 15 years. So yeah.
And it's amazing because, there are some people that love to homeschool and some students that do homeschool do really, really well.
Yeah, it all depends on the student and the teacher and yeah.
Exactly. But she said, one of the things my daughter said was that, for some of these moms and parents that have been working all the time, then all of a sudden they're at home and they're expected to teach. It's that wasn't their passion. They didn't go into teaching because that wasn't their passion.
Yeah.
So she's been dealing with some of that, and with the kids with some of that, which is actually great. She's enjoying that.
That's good. That's good. So then you went to college for
So I
a
went.
while, right? How long does it take to be a doctor?
So I went to college and I got a degree in chemistry.
Oh, you did? Okay,
I
interesting.
got a degree in chemistry and I actually worked with some of the pharmaceutical companies in my town doing research and studies.
Yeah.
I started doing that and I was doing research in the labs and stuff as I was going through medical school or undergraduate school. So my undergraduate school took 4 years.
Okay, that's not too
4
bad.
years.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was a teaching assistant through part of that. So I taught human anatomy dissection labs while I was in college.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Working with cadavers. So, it's like I've been working with the body since, I was in high school.
Well, that's good
So
training too, because then you can really see, what's going on and, anything that you might need to know
it is.
forward
It
in the career. Yeah.
And it was funny because when I was teaching, there was, when I grew up, I was kind of this shy kid, or there are certain things that, that were kind of there that you weren't supposed to pay attention to and stuff like that. And kind of teaching the human anatomy dissection labs and stuff, that all just kind of went away. And in college, I also worked for a mortuary. So I drove a hearse and went and picked up people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I've had a lot of experiences.
Oh yeah, you did. You were made for this. Yeah, definitely.
Then after college, then I went to medical school. Medical school's another 4 years.
Okay. Okay.
So
So
after high school, you have 4 years of undergraduate school, 4 years of medical school.
Yeah.
Those medical school years sometimes can be tough.
Yeah.
There were lots of long hours and studying late at night and studying in classes. And I remember eating pizza while we're doing cadaver lab dissections.
Oh, really? That sounds wonderful. Yeah, exactly what you should be doing. You're doing the cadavers, eating pizza. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
Americans' favorite food, right?
It's the quick thing, right?
It is. It's so easy. I know. I was just like, "Where's all our pizzas?" Yesterday, because I was so busy, and I was like, "We're out. Let's see. Let's make a smoothie." That's my other backup thing. Let's make a quick smoothie. There's some protein in there. So. Yeah.
That's my thing in the morning too. It's just like when I'm running behind, or things don't feel like they're going quite as smooth. It's just like smoothie, quick and easy. A little bit of protein, put the powder in, shake it up in a shaker bottle, drink it good at least for about 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, in fact, I had one this morning. I was like, I don't feel like making anything. I'm just going to throw some protein in. I made some cream of wheat for my kids because they love peanut butter. So they mix it
nice,
in.
nice.
And sometimes we put like frozen berries and stuff on it too. So it's really good.
So my daughter, she throws those frozen berries, and then I look in the freezer.
Yeah.
Why do we have like 3 or 4 packages of frozen berries here?
Yeah, that's
Let's finish one package and then go to the next one.
Yeah, no, we've got all kinds in the freezer. So sometimes you don't feel like the same berries. So.
Apparently.
Yeah, they get boring. So you were practicing for quite a while, and then something happened. Is that where this is going? Like, what happened?
I was actually so after medical school, I had 3 years of residency in family medicine.
Okay.
And I knew that I wanted to take care of a young population. My teachers were always telling me, if you want to take care of a young population, you got to create it. So after 3 years, I went to a small hospital, and I had learned how to do surgery. So at times I was functioning as a surgeon.
Excuse me, Dr. Micheal here. So you went 4 years of undergrad, 4 years of postgrad, would it be called? Am I correct on that? Okay. And then you went 3 years of residency?
Correct.
And then you took
So I'm 11 years out of high school.
So is surgery separate, or would that be in one of those programs?
No, surgery is separate. But
okay, I thought so.
If they're going to be a straight surgeon, they may be another, after medical school, they'd be another 4 to 7 years, depending on their surgical specialty.
Okay.
So you're talking anywhere from 11 to 20 plus years.
18 plus, yeah.
Out of high school, or out of high school.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
That's
I
a lot
didn't
of
realize
education.
that. Yeah. What a
Yeah.
skill to have, though. I mean, you guys have the most like sought after skill, definitely, because we definitely need more doctors. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, they're actually anticipating. I saw a report recently that they're anticipating a doctor shortage by 2030. I think is what they said, or somewhere between 40 and 120,000, 40,000 and 120,000 physicians short.
Wow. And what year is that? 2024? Oh, 2030. Oh, okay. Okay. 2030.
So
So
that's not very far.
no, it isn't. Which I can
No.
see my youngest as a doctor. She's only 10, but I think she would work with animals more than people. But she is like the chemist of the family. She makes up all kinds of stuff all the
Potions.
time. Yep. And she cuts up things to dissect them all the time. So, and she loves animals. She like goes outside and collects things. So,
Well,
yeah,
it's a nice thing about animals, especially dogs. You know, dogs are one of those animals that they love you no matter what.
that's true.
You know,
Yep.
as long as you feed them and pay attention to them every now and then, they love you no matter what.
Yep. I had a dog ever since I can remember. I've always had a dog. So I think I had like a 2-3 year break, and yeah, I've had one ever since. So yeah. So
Yeah.
you're at this time, you're a surgeon, and were you practicing at that time and then something happened
Yeah.
during?
So I was actually in practice. I went into solo
Yeah.
practice in a small town. I functioned as a surgeon, but my biggest part of my practice was delivering kids.
Okay.
So I delivered lots of kids, but
Yeah,
I
that's
was also
wonderful.
in the operating room and I was in the ICU and I was on the floor. So I was kind of the jack of all trades in a small hospital.
Yeah.
And one weekend I delivered 8 kids in 60 hours.
Wow.
So
That's a long day. Yeah.
that was a long stretch. It was
Yeah.
like one after another and they just kept coming and they were all in labor. And, you know, it felt really good for a young guy,
Yeah.
you know.
Bringing new
And I'd
life.
been doing that I'd been delivering kids and doing that for about 8 years.
Okay.
And after that long weekend, which was, everybody remembers that September 10th of 2001.
Okay.
Okay?
September 10th,
So
2001.
9/11 is the next day.
Yes.
So I went home that Monday morning and went up a flight of stairs in my house and really got dizzy going up the flight of stairs.
Where were
And
you
I fell
located?
stairs.
Where were you located?
I was in Kansas at that time.
And okay. And so you were going up the flight of stairs,
I
and
was
then what
going up a flight
happened?
of stairs
Yeah.
and I just got dizzy.
Yeah.
And then I tumbled down the flight of stairs.
Oh, wow.
Now, by this time, I was living alone because obviously doing all that type of work, family didn't necessarily stick around. And I wasn't really focused on family at that
No,
time,
you were focused on
unfortunately.
everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wasn't really focused on family. So unfortunately, you know, I was living alone at that time.
Yeah.
And I laid on the floor at the foot of my stairs for about 45 minutes because I couldn't move.
Yeah. Your body was
And when
probably in
I
shock,
was able
I
to get
imagine.
myself up, my left arm didn't work. It just hung by my side.
Huh.
And I had difficulty balancing on my left leg. And so I knew I was in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm by myself. I'm in my late 30s at this point.
Okay.
Um, I was by myself and I realized that I need to get help, but I couldn't recognize this before the days of these cell phone things in our pockets. We didn't have these. I think
Yeah.
we had a brick, you know, one of those big
I
bricks.
remember the brick. I had a brick. Yeah,
Yeah.
with those big, thick things. Yeah.
with that antenna that stick up, you know.
I had a book bag just to carry the brick. Yeah. I had like a briefcase.
And that was a cool phone.
Yeah, it was amazing just to have one. It was like, oh my God, I can call anywhere I'm at. Kinda. Kinda.
That was a cool thing. You had the brick phone. That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
So,
It wasn't the pager. It wasn't the pager. So yeah, we upgraded.
yeah, the pages are starting to fade out a little bit
Yeah.
for some people.
Yeah.
But I knew I had to get help. So I was able to get to my car
Yeah.
and the hospital was 3 miles away.
Oh,
So
wow.
as I'm driving to the hospital, my chin ends up on my chest.
Oh my goodness.
And so I'm looking over the top of my glasses and I remember seeing, what's that shadow in the road? Well, it happened to be the neighbor's cows were in the middle of the road.
It was what?
The
It was,
neighbor's cows were in the middle of the road.
oh, the neighbor's house was in the
Cow, cow.
cow.
Yeah.
Oh, you live out in like the
I
rural
live out in the
area.
rural.
Got it. Got
Yeah,
it.
we have these big animals and stuff. If you hit them with their car, it's expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. And it would hurt. So did
And
you
it
hit
hurt.
the car? I mean, did
So
you hit the cow? Not the
no,
car.
I didn't hit the cow, but I got to the hospital
Yeah.
or to my office. And by the time that I got there, I couldn't get my chin off my chest and I couldn't speak.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I couldn't use my arms. So I laid on the horn and my staff came out and got me and they took me over to the hospital.
Yeah.
Okay. And they did all these expensive tests, but I had been the doctor in the small town. So they were giving me my own test to read.
Yeah, I see. To
And
diagnose
it's like,
yourself.
I think somebody else needs to read these. And so
Wow.
what ended up happening was I ended up having a stroke at age 38.
Okay. Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Have
And
you found anything to overcome that now? Do you have them still?
so it was one of those things when they started looking for why I had strokes,
Yeah.
I ended up having some really painful, expensive tests for them to tell me that they didn't know why I had a stroke at 38.
Yeah.
We're starting to see more and more people have strokes in their late 30s.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Huh.
But, I was a driven guy. I was really motivated and driven. And so I was going to get back up. And so I was delivering babies from a wheelchair.
Oh, really?
I would
Well, you
deliver.
you were like the main guy of the hospital. So who else is gonna come in and fill your place? Yeah.
So I would deliver babies. It was, and it's interesting because a couple weeks after that stroke, I fell and I broke an arm and I broke a kneecap and I broke a bone in my face
Oh
because I
man.
fell trying to help an athlete.
Oh man.
And so then I ended up back in the hospital. Then I ended up with a blood clot in my leg. So I had all this stuff going on. And
Yeah.
so I wanted to be back into delivering babies. So I was delivering babies with a broken arm
With the
and
broken cheek,
a
right? Or
broken,
broken face,
and a
right?
broken bone in my face. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I did that, but I still didn't have any answers.
Yeah. Because you're still going for all the testing, right?
So yeah, so much for all
Yeah.
the testing. And they couldn't tell me why. Even my colleagues were like, we don't know why you had a stroke at 38 years old.
Yeah.
So, being a driven guy, I'm back at work trying to get back there as fast as I can because, I have this feeling that everybody depends on me.
Well, you were always there. So yeah.
And, I was the doctor, I lived a couple miles from the hospital. So I was the easiest one to get to if there's anything that happened at night too.
Yeah.
So a year later, 14 months later, let's go there.
Okay.
And I had another time when I was actually driving and I had my kids in the car.
Oh
And
no.
I just kind of drifted over and fell over into one of my daughter's laps.
Oh no.
And I got pulled over by the police because I was drifting on the road.
Yeah.
And they gave me a ticket for reckless driving because I crossed the road.
Yeah.
Center.
Uh-huh.
And, I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know what. And
Yeah.
so I ended up taking my kids back to their mom's house and drove back home, which is about 60 miles. And when I opened the car door of my house, I live in the country, so I'm a mile from anybody. So I opened the car door and just fell out on the ground.
Yeah. And then you were like, oh goodness, now I'm going through this again.
I'm going through this again. So I drove myself back to the hospital. They sent me to a major institution in the area who did some really painful tests, needles in my back and all that type of stuff to tell me I'd had a second stroke.
Oh, yeah. It's like, yeah, I kind of figured that. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'd had a second stroke, and then I was having a lot of difficulty with ambulation at that time.
What's ambulation? I'm not familiar with the term.
I had difficulty walking.
Okay. Ambulance. Okay. That makes sense. Uh-huh.
But they didn't have any idea, again, why I was having a stroke.
Okay.
Now, I was trained in traditional medicine, so I'm trying to rack my brain in the same thing, trying to figure out why I had a stroke.
Yeah.
And I came out of that hospital in a wheelchair.
Okay. So
And they
another
told me,
wheelchair again. Yeah.
And I remember hearing them have the conversation with me, and they said it's probably unlikely that I'd walk again.
Ah,
And at that point, it's like, I'm 39 years old. There's no way that I'm not walking.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm not taking this. Yeah,
Taking it. So I ended up looking and saying, look, there's got to be a reason for this.
yeah,
You know, I could lay there and be a victim and feel sorry for myself. But I was like, there's got to be a bigger plan
yeah,
for my life than what I was doing. I love delivering kids. I love taking care of pregnant moms. I love taking care of their kids. I love taking care of the entire family. But there had to be something bigger.
yeah. Well, it was
And it
your
was
passion
like,
for 8 years. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And it's kind of like, this is the 2x4 across the back that says,
Wake up. Yeah, I can
wait,
see that.
there's more.
Yeah, there's something else. You're missing something here. I keep trying to tell you. Yeah.
So, yeah. And so my practice changed. I couldn't do the operating room. I couldn't do the surgery anymore because I had some weakness in my arm.
Yeah.
And I fatigued easy, and my hand would collapse or contort and stuff while I was trying to hold instruments. So I was out of the operating room.
Okay.
I was out of doing labor and delivery, delivering babies.
Yeah.
I had to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
A physician friend of mine said, let's look at your hormones. And I was like, I'm a guy. I don't have a hormone problem. That's
Yeah.
those crazy women out there. They have hormone problems. I'm a
Yeah,
guy.
you notice that? Yeah, what I heard my dad actually went for a test just recently about hormones and stuff. He was going through a point in his life that he was facing depression. He never faced depression in his life ever. He wakes up like same time, 4 o'clock in the morning, goes to work, comes home, he owns his own business, he loves it. And then all of a sudden he was just like, I don't feel like doing anything. Like it was just like a total change. And so they've been running tests with him with hormones too. But you never hear it with guys. You never hear it with guys. Yeah.
You never hear it with guys. So
Yeah.
hormones are really a big thing.
Yeah.
For men, they could be all of a sudden they lose kind of that mojo.
Yeah.
I don't have the ambition or motivation that I used to. I'm just kind of going through life, or I have that depression. I don't really feel like I'm depressed, like suicidal, like everybody thinks
Yeah.
about. It's like I just feel kind of blah. Life's boring, and it's like, is this it? And
Yeah.
for women, they could go into the emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
I feel good, I don't feel good. I feel good, I don't feel good. And they're like, go to the doctor, and the first thing that happens is, let's put you on Zoloft, or let's put you on an antidepressant.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of those don't work, unfortunately. I know so many people that it's just like, I tried the antidepressants, or my parents put me on them, if we're talking younger kids or teenagers, but they never helped me, as they grow older, they're like, that never helped. And I think I know where you're going with this. Is it something to do with, like you found it within you to like push through this?
Yeah. So what happens, physician said, let's put you on some hormones. And so I took some hormones for a while to balance this out. And all of a sudden, my strength started to improve. And I started, mentally, I didn't feel like I was bad, but I started to improve. And I said, there's got to be something different for people, because as a young physician, I'm not the only one that goes through this.
Yeah.
And so at that point, we started transitioning the practice.
Okay.
And we started adding in what's now called functional medicine. Back then it was anti-aging medicine.
Okay.
And the focus was on hormones, and then we moved into thyroid and adrenal function. And then over the years, we moved into GI tract and autoimmune disorders and detoxification, and
Yeah.
all those things. It's really focused on how do we help the body heal itself.
Yeah. And I love this actually, because I just had a conversation with somebody a couple days ago. We talked about he was a pilot, and he had to overcome cancer, tumors, multiple times. And he said there is a germ factor, and I can't remember the other one off the top of my head here, but it was basically healing your body. And then from healing your body, it will protect you from the germs instead of the other way where you would fight the germ that went into the body. I thought that was really fascinating. Yeah. So is that pretty much the same thing?
Yeah. And that's, if we think about the body, it's really designed to take care of itself.
Mm-hmm.
If we, I kind of make the comment, if we break a bone, we put the two ends of it in the same room, then
Yeah.
they'll heal. The body's designed to take care of itself. But in medicine, we are trained to manage your disease process.
Yeah.
So we feel like we need to do something or give you something. So we treat you like
Like your
whatever's
body,
happening to you,
like your
your high
body
blood
can't.
pressure, cholesterol,
Yeah.
is from outside of you. So we got to give you a drug to make it better.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And in functional medicine, we're actually interested in what do you do? What do you take in? Not just the foods, but what does your mind take in? What are you hearing? What are you seeing? Like right now, you see all this negative stuff on the news. It's all this scary stuff, right? Which then people respond to it. And you end up with depression and fear. And, then all of a sudden you're like collapsed. You're constricted.
You're
Okay.
stuck. Yeah.
So you have to be aware of what you're taking in through your senses. You got, what am I looking at? What am I seeing? What's on the news? What am I hearing?
And
Am
then
I
what do
hearing
you
all that
believe?
stuff?
What do you believe? That's the where's your boundary? What do you take in as the truth? What do you take in as your focus?
Right. What do you take in? How do you protect yourself? Because we got to protect this. Unlike my car that's sitting in the driveway, I may keep it for 5 years. This thing is 80 years or more that I got to live in this thing. If I don't protect this, nobody else is going to.
Yeah, nobody can. Nobody knows what you're going through. Nobody can see, what is your trigger points, and only you can protect that. Only you
Right.
can say, enough's enough, or I will take in this information or not. So yeah.
It's in that sense, it's like, how do I feed my mind?
Mm-hmm.
Am I listening to stuff that lifts me up? Am I listening to stuff that builds me up, that actually creates positive hope? Am I looking for, if something's happening in my life, what is it happening for? What's the lesson?
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
I don't believe that anything happens because of happenstance. There's some lesson for us.
That's true. Yeah, I agree.
You know,
Even in
it's so
when we hit that wall or there's a struggle, would you say that those are lessons too. Even the struggles are lessons.
and sometimes the struggles are the biggest lessons.
Yeah.
For me, it was my health. There had
Mhm.
to be something different. I could make a bigger impact for other people by focusing not on what drug to give them, but how can they take care of themselves?
Yeah, definitely. And then when you treat now with your practice now, when you treat somebody, they can actually share that knowledge with other people, and it
Right.
becomes a ripple. It becomes, improving other people's lives as well. So yeah.
Functional medicine and learn how to be healthy is about first getting the knowledge of how the body works.
Yeah.
And it's actually, you have to go out and seek it.
Mhm.
If you're going to wait for the doctor who's too busy and is dealing with insurance companies and pharmaceutical companies and all administration, you think they're going to give it to you? They don't have time.
Yeah.
They're doing what they do, and they do very well managing the diseases that come in. But
Yeah.
they don't necessarily have all the time that they need to educate. It requires the patients to educate themselves.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
That's part of growing the mind and keeping the mind fit. Just like we keep the body fit, we exercise, or at least we hope we're exercising. We also got to exercise the mind.
Yeah, that's true. It's a muscle. It's a
It's
muscle.
a muscle.
Yeah.
So there's a gentleman, Scorpion. I don't know if you remember him. He has an IQ of 197. I was sitting with him in New York one time, and he said, I asked him a question, what do people need to know? And he said, people need to think about thinking.
There's another good quote that touches on the same thing. People lost the something like people lost the way to think or something. So people need to think more. And yeah, another really, really like inventor or something. I just can't remember off the top of my head right now. Yeah.
And right now, in this day and age, we have so much digital information come in. We have so much digital information that we don't know how to sort it out and organize it.
Yeah, and then we get fatigued, and then we get stressed, and then we feel like we're in so many different directions that it's overwhelming, and then we bring out that negativity with other people that we love and care about in our family, and the people that, you know, we feel like are attacking us. It just goes on
Yeah.
and on and on and on. Yeah.
Yeah, we start responding or reacting to what's going on out there, as opposed to creating our world. We become a reaction to what's happening out there.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, we're creators. You know,
We are.
all of us are artists to some degree.
And everything is an art, and I think once we see that, it changes everything. I basically, well, I come from a background that I love fine art. I paint still, and that's, I think, where we got stuck, where it was like separate, right? Some people were like, you know, that's separate, that's creativity. But, you know, business or being a doctor or being a lawyer, that is not an art. And no, it really is. It takes skill. It takes ingenuity. It takes creativity. It takes just the same amount to make that happen, you know, to create it. And it's an art. It's just like music. It's just like anything you would say is, you know, an art and dancing. It's the same thing.
Right. And it's that not only is that creative thinking, but creative thinking allows us to do problem solving.
Yeah.
And as people, we don't necessarily problem solve because it's so easy to go digitally and look for an answer to our problem.
That's true.
You know? And that may have been an answer to somebody else's problem.
Yeah.
You know, that may have worked for them, but we don't necessarily critically think through things. We don't even have to remember. I mean, I saw a thing the other day that was like, how many people remember their phone number from when they were a kid?
You know, I might be able to. I got to think about it. You know, it's one of those things that's somewhere in your mind, but you just got to, you know, sit and think. And it's still there. That information is still there. Even if you don't think it's there, it's there. And I like to tell people it's like this. Remember when you lost your keys last, and then all you thought about was where the heck you put the keys? And you put all your mental mind power around that one thing. And that's how you have that's what you need to train. You need, when you really want something, when you really want to improve something, you need to put that much power into that, because that's what's training your mind. That's what's giving you that ability, and then it'll get easier, you know, once you do. So.
And that's exactly right. It's you know, we don't think, we don't critically problem solve, we don't, and our memory is not as sharp as it used to be. So we're actually seeing a decline.
Yeah.
Okay. Which I heard the term digital dementia.
Oh, interesting.
If you take away my cell phone,
yeah, you wouldn't know where to look.
Numbers to call if I need help.
Yeah. Interesting.
Right.
Yeah. What would you go to? Yeah.
Yeah, this is the go-to. It's like, if you remember Star Trek, they had these in Star Trek.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, this all started with Star Trek.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I never thought about that. I love Star Trek. Star Trek was good.
Yeah, I like Star Trek too. As a kid, I always watched it. But it's, you know, it's interesting about medicine is, you know, we stress about everything.
Yeah.
People right now, they stress about, what clothes am I going to wear when I get up? They chase that green piece of paper like it's the end all be all.
And we're talking money here, right?
Money.
Yeah. It's a resource, guys. Resource. It's not your life.
It's a
resource.
tool.
It's a tool. It's not going to get you any more happier. It's not going to like make you cooler. I'm sorry to tell you, but you know.
And none of us are ever going to none of us are going to get out of this life alive, and we're not going to take any of that green stuff with us.
No.
Okay?
No. Yeah.
So it's about enjoying the relationships and the experiences that we can enjoy, and the people.
Yeah, it's all about people at the end of the day. It is all about people, the connection. Yeah, that's what people ultimately, that's what we're built for, is connection.
We're built for relationships.
Yeah.
You know, if you remember the Tom Hanks movie when he was on the island by himself and he had to find the soccer ball and he had to have a conversation with it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we even have conversations with inanimate objects.
Yeah.
You know, That's why we have spirituality, to some degree, and people pray, because we need to have conversations.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need to feel like we're connected, like we're not alone. Yeah.
We don't do well in isolation, and that's where we've seen a lot of people with this COVID is they've been in isolation with the conversations between their ears. I used to tell people the most dangerous place to spend time by yourself is on the 6 inches of real estate between your ears. It rarely tells you the good things about you unless you actively do that. It will
Always.
tell you everything about, you're too fat, or your hair looks too bad, or you got too many wrinkles, or nobody's going to love you, or blah, 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 blah.
You were your
Unless
worst
you
enemy.
train your mind
Yeah.
not to do that.
Yeah. I mean, it might have been stuff that you were fed throughout your life and it built up. But at the end of the day, you can change it just by training the way you talk to yourself. So, yeah.
Just like somebody goes to the gym and trains their biceps, their arms and stuff, and trains them, they can actually train their mind to actually work for them.
Yeah.
And that's an important muscle.
It is. Yeah.
And, so we're seeing that in these days of COVID where everybody's isolated, and it's, the story of Moses,
Uh-huh.
when he's crossing the Red Sea.
Yeah.
He goes to the edge of the Red Sea, and the only thing he's doing is looking back at everything in his life, everything that's negative in his life, but he wants to get somewhere else.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And in order to get somewhere else, he had to ask for help.
You did. Yeah.
Okay. And that's one of the things that so many of us don't do is we don't ask for help.
Yeah.
We rely on our own strength, which is great. But sometimes there are people out there, we call them mentors and coaches.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but they could be teachers, and they could be parents, and they could be aunts, and they could be uncles, and they could be all of that.
Everybody's a role model. Everyone. Yeah.
Is one of those key things that we can actually get the things that we want when we ask for help. Because there are things that in this life that we don't know.
Yeah.
And somebody else does.
Yeah.
And there are things that we don't know that we don't know. And until we're aware of those, we can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
And so, those are some of the important things for us, is to be able to ask for help. And that's the importance of why we see a coaching industry that's exploding. It's because people are looking for doing something different, and the coaches actually do that. And, you look at professional level athletes, most of them have coaches.
Yeah.
Not because they need the skill set, but because they need to be able to see something bigger. They need to be able to see something bigger, like seeing the forest when you're in the middle of the trees. I want somebody to see the whole forest, where the edge is, because the only thing I see is the trees and the path in front of me.
Yeah.
But the mentors or coaches can see something much bigger.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in medicine, I've done medicine for a long time.
Yeah, you have.
And a little over a year ago, another thing for me to change my career path, right?
Oh, okay. So yeah, what happened?
I was in Mexico. I was on vacation, and I walked across a pool deck.
Uh-huh.
I was having a lot of fun, but I was walking across the pool deck, and my legs quit, and I fell down, and I broke my arm.
Oh no. Oh no.
And I came back here to the United States and had surgery.
Okay.
And I woke up from surgery in a locked in state and was paralyzed. So I was fully aware of everything going on around me.
Yeah.
Couldn't respond to anything.
Yeah.
I couldn't talk to my kids. I couldn't talk to my partner. I couldn't open my eyes. They didn't have any clue that I was aware of everything. I couldn't feed myself. I was like a blob in a bed.
Okay, so you were almost like a coma, right?
Right.
Okay.
On their standpoint.
Yeah.
And it took me about 48 hours for my upper body and stuff to come up to where I could open my eyes and I could eat and I could have conversation.
Okay.
But my legs didn't come back.
Oh, okay.
So I ended up at that time, remember they told me I wouldn't walk again years before.
Yes.
This time they told me they wanted to send me to a nursing home for a year for rehab.
Oh, goodness.
I was like, no thanks.
So you went through rehab, right?
So I left the hospital in a wheelchair again.
Uh-huh.
and said, I have to do something different because medicine's not really helping me get better.
Yeah.
And so I found some stuff in functional medicine. I had some great people that helped support me.
Yeah.
Okay.
At this time, you're already kind of integrating this into your practice.
Right.
So you kind of knew what you needed to look for. And so now you are providing, is it like a supplement, or is it
Well, it was a device. What I
a
started using was
device?
a
Okay.
device on my leg that sends a DC current so that my muscles would start to contract.
Okay.
The idea was that that would then, because my brain wasn't getting the information, sending the information to my legs to
Okay.
work.
Yeah.
So I had to get my legs to work so it'd send the information back up to my brain.
Yeah.
So my
The
brain would start
waves.
figuring it out.
Okay.
Okay.
Like
But,
reconnecting, I guess.
right.
Okay, cool.
Making those connections again.
Yeah.
And so, but I was having difficulty. I was having problems with falling. I would fall in front of my patients. I would fall in the street. I'd fall when I was walking. But at this point, driven again, right? I was running 4 clinics.
Wow. You were busy. Yeah.
So I was busy. But all of a sudden, I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And so I ended up leaving the clinical practice of medicine
Okay.
so that I could focus on my own health. And sometimes you have to do that.
Yeah, you do.
Sometimes you have to realize that
You
I
got to
am
put yourself
important.
first. Yeah, you are.
I am important. And
Mhm.
for people to realize that they are really important and they have to focus on themselves, because if you're not showing up to the game to take care of you, nobody else is going to. And so I've spent the last year concentrating on learning how to walk. And I've actually started working with physicians that are disillusioned or disenfranchised with medicine to actually help them enjoy medicine again and actually focus that their self-care is important, because physicians, we don't take care of ourselves first. We
No.
take care of everybody
Focus
else.
on everybody else. Yeah.
So it's important for people to realize their first priority for taking care of anybody, if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to have the resources or energy or anything else to take care of anybody else. So if you're a mom out there, moms are a big one. If you're so focused on taking care of everybody else that you're worn out and you're tired and you're exhausted and you don't have any time for you, what happens when you're not there? Everybody loses. Those kids that you're trying to give everything to lose.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have a spouse out there or a partner, there's kind of one of those kids too. They lose. Parents, as they get older, they require help. But if if the caregiver is not taking care of themselves,
That's true.
they can't give to those people that are older. So now what I do is I help physicians actually look at how they can enjoy their practice and love life at the same time.
That's wonderful. So you help the doctors
Help
now.
the doctors.
That's wonderful. So how's the walking? Do you walk
So,
now?
so I've started being able to do some of the stuff that I hadn't done for, since my fall here
Yeah.
recently. So, and I still use a device to help me walk.
Yeah.
I still use a cane periodically. I have difficulty going up and down stairs or ramps. Those are a little bit difficulty. I still try not to park in the handicap parking, even though I have the permits.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that I have to concentrate, and everybody needs to concentrate on their own health first. And so now it's about educating patients, but also educating the doctors and having everybody focus on their own self-care.
Yeah. So
Go
ahead. Go ahead.
If you're not going to focus on yourself and you're continuing to give to everybody else will have you continue to give, or they will continue to take. And if you're trying to figure out something for yourself by giving to everybody else, it's not out there. It's in here. If you want your best life, it's actually in here already. You have to pay attention to what's in here. When you pay attention to what's in here, then you can make that out there happen. So, your own physical health, your own mental health, what you put into your brain, the information that you put into your brain, all of that's important. But it really is starting in here. It doesn't matter. If you have health issues, that's not the end all be all, and it doesn't have to be. If you have depression, find a functional medicine physician that can look to see if it's hormonal or there's something else, as opposed to taking the pill. Okay. If you have medical problems, it doesn't mean that you're sick. Our wellness happens in our communities. That's why wellness starts with a we. It's a we thing. Wellness is a we thing. Who do you connect with? Our illnesses happen in isolation. Remember, illness starts with an I. The more isolated I am, the sicker I'm going to get. The more connected to other people, the healthier I have a chance of being. But I also have to take care of me. You have to take care of you. It starts with you, and it starts with what you think, who you listen to, who you read, what you listen to, what you watch. That's why these podcasts are so good, because you can do them anywhere. It's not like I have to look at a video screen. I can be driving, or I can be walking, or I can be at the gym and listening to a podcast to actually feed my mind.
Yep. Definitely. Thank you so much, Dr. Micheal. That was amazing. Yeah, definitely. You really covered a lot there, and I hope everybody got what they needed to take the necessary steps to self-improvement. I hope that they share this message of hope with all their friends and family, and spread it as far as they can, because people like you that come and share their story, struggle to success, are the people that we need to be the advocates out there and to bring more joy into the world. So
Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you. I totally appreciate you coming on to the show today and sharing your story. Can you give us some information on where people can reach you and your practice right now?
Yeah, they can reach me. I have a website. It's simmons360.com.
Okay.
So people can connect with me on Facebook or any social media, or LinkedIn, or any social media that they want. They can kind of see a little bit about what we're up to. We're always adding stuff, okay, for not just for the doctors. So don't think it's just about the doctors.
Yeah.
Doctors have to be healthy to help everybody else be healthy, but it's also about everybody else. Okay. So we're actually helping everybody. So there's information.
Good.
It's Simmons, SIMMONS360.com.
Okay. And I'll put that in the link in the description, guys, so you can check out the links if you're watching on the YouTube channel under amina.media, or you are listening to the podcast. It's also in the descriptions on the podcast as well.
Perfect. So thank you very much for allowing me to come on and talk. I mean, I think people are amazing. I think the work that you're doing is amazing, and the difference that you're making. So I appreciate the work that you're doing and how you're making a difference for other people.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, Micheal. Dr. Micheal.
All I want to do is serve.
Thank you. I appreciate you. And thank you so much for your time and taking out your busy schedule to meet with us today.
Thank you.
Keep being amazing. Keep sharing your story. Keep helping others through your clinic and through everything you do online to give back to the doctors and the patients. You are made for this. You are needed. You are wanted in this world. Don't ever forget that. Have a good afternoon or evening, wherever you're at right now. I'm not really sure. What time is it there? Are you on the same coast?
It is still morning.
Okay, me too. It's 10 here. So you have a wonderful day, and enjoy your family and your friends and your granddaughter, right? Yeah.
That's right.
And have a beautiful day. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you, everybody, for listening today.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.